Okay, so I think this is now the fourth time I tried to start this video, but here we are. So my name is Jay. This channel is Unpolished Man. My weekly goal, I want to do one video every week for this year, so give me roughly 52 videos. I think I might have missed the first week of January, but regardless, I'm doing it now. I'm a known procrastinator, so sometimes I wait till the last minute to put stuff together. So here we are. Hopefully gonna do it every single Sunday, every week for 52 weeks straight. That's the goal. Overarching goal for this channel is to maybe get this thing to 1,000 subs. Primarily in the long form content. I don't really care for shorts or short-term videos that much, and I think just the daily grind of it is stupid and kind of hard to do, especially with kids, married, job. But I'm gonna try my hardest to do that as well. But the main goal is to do 52 long-form videos this year at least, and primarily the stuff's gonna be just books, family, some fitness stuff, Jesus. In no really particular order. It's just kind of more or less documenting my life as opposed to some of the more random videos I've done in the past with really no goal or direction. So that's what I'm trying to do, is get more focused on what it is that I want to do with this channel, what I want to talk about what I actually like. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So here it is. This is the first video, 2025. Again, my name's Jay. This is Unpolished Man. That's the goal for this channel in 2025. And what I did in 2024, just a quick recap. I didn't really do much on social media. I go through spurts where I really hate social media and I stay off of it. Or I have spurts where I'm really into it and I want to be a part of it. So my goal is to force myself to want to be a part of it for the entire year. As far as for what I did personally in 2024, this felt like it was kind of just a bland year. One cool thing I did do is I ran a marathon in 2025. I didn't hit necessarily the time that I wanted, but I still did it. And that's all I want to do, is just to do it and to live. I'll probably do another one again, but my main fitness goal is just to get in shape this year, to look better, to feel better, to eat better, all those sorts of things. But as far as for family stuff, in 2024, that's a pretty basic year. Blessed, everyone's happy and healthy. That's the main thing. But no real growth in areas to just my wife or my kids or anything like that. It was just a regular year, which is great. I'm very fortunate to have a regular year, but I want to be just more intentional with them, with my wife, with my kids, and those sorts of things to really make it more of a meaningful thing of doing stuff, of activities, or being involved with my kids do, and more than I was last year. I had a lot of work stuff that kind of took priority, which I'm not letting that happen again in 2024, especially since it's not even my own business that I'm dealing with. But that's kind of 2024 in a nutshell. Nothing really crazy happened, but now I'll get to the good stuff and get to the books. The books that I read in 2024, I didn't actually read a ton until probably about September-ish, and I read Stephen King's Misery, my first Stephen King book. I absolutely loved it, and that kind of started me back on my reading journey of really wanting to prioritize time to actually read and to enjoy what I'm reading and to read about different things, try new things, or just read old books that people love and that have been out for a while. So I read Misery and I absolutely loved it. I probably read only like, I don't know, 8 or 9 books last year, if that. Yeah, probably 8 or 9 books if I really think about it. I read Misery, I read Columbine, I read Tattooist of Auschwitz. Looking at my bookshelf, trying to remember. I think I read one of the Dexter books. I can't remember all the rest of them, but yeah, probably 8 or 9, maybe even 10 books. I'm kind of being generous with that. But anyways, to end 2025, I read some really, really good books. And I went on a music kick. And I kind of finished this at the end of 2024, end of 25. But I went on a music kick, and I started reading this book, The Last Train to Memphis, which is about the rise of Elvis Presley. This thing was pretty thick. There's a lot of details and stuff packed into this thing, and way more than I realized, but I absolutely love this book, and since I've gone down just the absolute rabbit hole of Elvis Presley and his family. I absolutely love this book, and I know Peter, it's The Last Train to Memphis, The Rise of Elvis Presley, which is basically from when he sang his first song up until he went into the military and got out. It's by Peter Grolinek, if I'm pronouncing that right. I know he has a part 2 about the unraveling of Elvis Presley. I will be getting that, and I will be reading that very soon in 2025. And to pair it with that, which kind of just happened by accident because I got it for Christmas, I read Lisa Marie Presley and Riley Keough, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I read From Here to the Great Unknown, kind of as I was finishing this Elvis book. And this book was really good too. Not as much packed into this thing as the Last Train to Memphis, but to kind of pair these two things with just Elvis song, because we all know the end of Elvis's career and how it happened, but pairing these two things together was actually kind of sad. I felt really bad for her in this book. There's a lot of kind of sad stuff, a lot of sad subject matter in this. and obviously reading The Last Train to Memphis and hearing about his rise to popularity, and then kind of his slump when he did the movies, and then his comeback again as he started doing live shows again, and then obviously the tragic ending of his life. And you hear about that in Lisa Marie Presley's book about the day that he died. And really, it's just, from my opinion, it's just the whole thing that happened to her life after her dad passed away solely happened for that moment when she lost her dad. And the writing in Last Train to Memphis is so packed with different details, so it was kind of distracting at times. It kind of pulled you away from a little bit of what you were actually reading, but at the same time, it also added a lot of good context to exactly what was going on, who he was with, the conversations that he had. You kind of get in his head a little bit on what he was thinking and what he was feeling. And then reading Lisa Marie Presley's book, you kind of see the aftermath of his rise to fame and ultimately what led just to him being beat to crap and ultimately passing away. And both of these books were phenomenal. I loved both of these. I did have some gripes with this one. Like I said, I kind of felt bad for her in certain scenarios, but also it's like, you know, you're a person of privilege in a way. I don't mean that to be rude, but a lot of her issues of just not being happy where they lived, or just uplifting the whole family and moving away or cutting people off. It just, obviously as a regular person, that doesn't resonate with me, because I can't just up and leave my family. You know, and also she had a good amount of money from her dad. So I didn't really relate to a lot of her problems, but just the issues of family and mental issues, obviously a lot of us can relate to those things. So all in all, I did make for an enjoyable read. I did enjoy the Elvis one better than hers, but just to kind of read about just the history of the family together and what they went through. It took me a couple of days to kind of really process it. I didn't really read much after that, just because there was a lot of emotion in Lisa Marie Presley's book. And then obviously reading Last Train to Memphis, there's a lot of stuff in there. It just kind of bums you out. So, but if you haven't read either of those two, if you're any sort of a music fan, The Last Train to Memphis, you should read it. Definitely read it. And this kind of pairs great too. And also just learning about her, I didn't really know much about her, so I did enjoy reading it. And what I'm currently reading, so I started this book at the end of 2024 also. I'm going to finish it in 2025. This is Manhunt. This is about the 12-day chase for Lincoln's killer by James L. Swanson. And I love the Civil War history. I love the period of history of the Civil War. I love learning about Abraham Lincoln. I love learning about just this time and period and what was going on. I've read a lot of stuff on Lincoln and things that he did and what he went through. This kind of goes into the chase for John Wilkes Booth, beginnings that led him to the assassination of Lincoln, and also and goes in great detail on the assassination and the aftermath of it as well, which again is also heartbreaking. But this time period is so interesting to me. So I flew through the beginning really fast. This was like 2 days worth of reading. I'm kind of stalled a little bit just because we're getting to the period of the search for John Wilkes Booth, and not really a ton is happening, but I'm definitely still going to finish it. And I'm sure overall I will enjoy this book once it's all said and done. Civil War history stuff, this is awesome. And then another book that I'm currently reading is by Larry McMurtry, I think. And this is Leaving Cheyenne. So I've heard a lot of people say, a lot of reading guys that I follow, they say Lonesome Dove is a phenomenal book. I was going to buy that, but I didn't realize that thing is like 700 pages long. And I never even read anything by Larry McMurtry, so I didn't want to just jump into reading something like that. And what if I didn't like it and waste my time? And I was at Barnes & Noble, so it was like $25, which is silly. So I was like, you know what, let's start with the smaller book to begin with. Let's do Leaving Cheyenne. I read some reviews on this and heard that it's really good. And I'm about, I don't know, like 50 pages into this thing, and yeah, I could sit down and read this whole thing in one day. You just feel like after you're done reading it, you just feel more like you're a cowboy, just having read just the dialogue that he has with the characters in the book. And I love the Wild West stuff too, so this book is right up my alley. If you've only read Lonesome Dove, or if you haven't read Lonesome Dove yet, I would get this one and that one. And I'm probably going to read all this stuff that this guy has. So anyways, that's my current books that I'm reading. Reading the Bible every day, reading Manhunt, reading Leaving Cheyenne. So lots of stuff that we're reading. Now for coffee, since this is supposed to be called This Week with Coffee, this is a coffee that I'm drinking right now. This is Sightseer coffee. It's the Space Cowboy, whatever that means, but it's an Ethiopian coffee. It's got notes of blueberry jam, grape, Capri Sun, rosé, wine, and it's juicy and sweet. It's a light to medium roast, and it's a natural processed coffee. I love Ethiopian coffees. I can't really tell the difference in process just yet. My palate isn't that refined. but the notes and stuff, this is right up my alley. This coffee is a banger. And my wife got it for me, a little trade coffee subscription. And that was the first bag that I got. And that's what I'm currently drinking now in my James coffee cup, which is another one of my favorite brands. That bag is phenomenal. I wish I could get it every month, but I have another random bag that I'm going to be getting next month, or maybe in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, of another type of coffee that's similar to an Ethiopian that I really enjoy. So yeah. All right, that's coffee. Now let's talk about goals that I have for this year. So I hit a whiteboard up of every single thing that was on my head of what I think I would like to accomplish at least sometime in my life, or maybe even just for this year. So I kind of just put everything on there. I got like 74 things. I'm not going to show you because there's no point. 74 things on there, but now I'm going to take that, I'm going to chunk it down to what I think I can actually do this year. I'm going to break it into 5 categories of fitness, business, faith, and then the more personal-ish type of goals that I want to have. So yeah, fitness, businesses, family, faith, and personal. That's 5. And I'm going to put them all in those different categories, and then I'm just going to get after it. I watched a Rob Bailey video, Kill Rob Bailey on YouTube, I think. He's a guy that started Flag Nor Fail, plus a million different other businesses. I love his clothes. I love his content. I love all the stuff that he and Dana Lynn Bailey do. Yeah. And so he got me all fired up to list everything out that I want to achieve, all my goals for this year, chunk it down into these categories, and then I'm just going to attack it and get after it. So I've got a lot of stuff, a lot of goals and stuff that I want to do. And as I break it down into these categories, I'll probably do that in the next video, just to talk about what those categories actually look like. And I feel like 2025 is going to be a phenomenal year for everybody, not just myself. And the last thing I want to talk about, I mentioned businesses. This is what I got for Christmas.
Jumping in here because I just realized I think I showed you my address in the video, so I'm not going to do that. So like I mentioned in the video, I got a coffee roaster. Here it is. In here is a coffee roaster. Hopper something or other.
My goal into 2025 is to learn how to roast my own coffee. So if I want to start a coffee business ultimately, and I feel like if you're going to actually start a coffee business, you need to know how to roast coffee. I don't want to outsource it and have somebody else roast my coffee for me. I'm not saying that I never will, but ideally I don't want to do that. I want to learn how to roast my own coffee, put it in my bag, seal it up, and send it out to people who want to buy it, or send it out to family and friends first, make sure it's not absolute shit, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But my goal is to learn how to roast coffee this year. And what's cool about this is, so you get the roaster itself, obviously, which I haven't taken it out of the box yet to look at it. I'll make a video of me. I'm going to document learning how to roast coffee, but so I'll probably do something that actually talks about learning how to roast coffee and the roaster that I got and how I'm going to learn about it. But what's cool is that you get the roaster and it comes with green coffee bags that you can sample, little small bags of different varieties that you can roast and see how it goes. So I'm really excited to learn how to roast coffee. So there it is. That's it. Hopefully this isn't too long of a video, and hopefully people actually want to watch it. But this is video 1 of 2025. We talked about goals for the channel. We talked about 2024. We talked about the current books that I'm reading, the current coffee that I'm drinking. We talked about the goals and the categories that I'm going to have. We talked about the coffee roaster. And yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff that I hope to be able to film, to document, to put out on YouTube. I hope you guys actually enjoy it. And yeah, we'll go from there. Again, my name's Jay. This is Unpolished Man. This is This Week with Coffee, episode 1. Peace.